All right, so for number 1, all you had to do was graph the equation y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the y-intercept. And in this case, that y-intercept is at positive 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be right here. This is going to be our y-intercept. This is where we're starting at. From there, we're going to use our slope. And the slope of this equation is right here. It's negative 3/4, which is telling me to do what, Trey? It's a negative 3/4. We're going to go down 3 and right 4. So from right here, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. That would put us right here. Now, if there's enough room, repeat the pattern. Go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have room.
Whoa, I did this wrong.
Now we can also reverse that pattern. You can also go up 3 and left 4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 would put me right over here. Notice the dots are going to line up. Once we have those points, we connect all the dots, and now we have our graph. So this is the graph for number 1. That's what everyone should have.
That's not what I have.
All right, well then we need to fix it.
When you were bigger graph.
All right, number 2. Number 2, we have the equation y equals 10/3 x minus 5. So just like with number 1, we're going to start off with the y-intercept, which is negative 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to put us right here. That's going to be our y-intercept. This time the slope is 10/3. So Nicole, what do we need to do here? Up 10 and over 3. So from that point, we're going to go up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 3 to the right. That would put me right here. Up 10, 3 to the right. And obviously, we're not going to have room to get another point in there. So we'll just go ahead and connect these 2 dots. And there's our graph for number 2. That's what I need for number 2. Now, number 3 and 4 are the same thing. However, we have to get them in slope-intercept form first.
How do you do that?
So for number 3, the first thing I'm going to do is move that 3x to the other side. Now, when I move that 3x to the other side, we're subtracting, which means now it's going to be a negative 3x. And we're going to keep that positive 4. So notice y is by itself. I've got my slope-intercept form. So now I can go back to graphing it the same way I did with number 1 and number 2. So 4, this right here, that's our y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be right here. The slope on this one is negative 3, but I need to make it a fraction, so I'm going to put a 1 underneath it. So that negative 3 over 1 is simply telling me to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. Once you've got your points, connect those dots. And we got the graph of our equation y equals negative 3x plus 4. All right, let's go to number 4. It's the same thing as number 3. We got to get this thing into slope-intercept form. So we're going to start by moving the 2x to the other side. And we're doing that with subtraction, which is why we have negative 2x. But,
Why is there a negative y?
well, why is there a negative y? Well, what was in front of that y?
Well, it can't be negative y.
That's right. Can't be negative y. That's like having a negative 1 there. So we're going to come over here and we're going to divide everything by negative 1. That way we can take care of that negative sign. So now we have a negative 2 divided by negative 1, which makes this a positive 2. And a 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So this becomes our new equation. That's the one we're going to be graphing. So on this one, we're going to start at negative 3. That's right here. And the slope on this one is 2, or 2 over 1. So we're going to rise 2, run 1. That's going to put us right here. Up 2, over 1. Up 2, over 1. So these are a couple of those points. Connect all of those dots. And now we have our line. So that's number 4. All right, let's go to number 5 and number 6. This is even easier. For number 5 and 6, they've given me an x-intercept and a y-intercept. The first one they gave me was the x-intercept. Right here it says that the x-intercept is at 5. So I'm going to go to my x-axis, that's this one right here, and I'm simply going to find 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here. That's the x-intercept 5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept on this one is -1. So I'll come over here to my y-axis and find that -1, which is right here. And now that I have those 2 points, it's just a matter of me connecting these 2 dots. So there's my graph, given the x-intercept 5 and the y-intercept -1. That's it. That's all I need, just the graph. I don't need anything else. They didn't ask for the equation. All it asked for was the graph. Now, had they asked me for the equation, then yes, I would have written an equation. But I didn't need to on this one. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with number 6. We're going to graph, given these 2 intercepts. This time the x-intercept is at -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to put me right here. That's the x-intercepts. The y-intercept on this one is going to be at +5. So now I'm going to my y-axis, that's this one right here, and I'm going to find the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. So I've got my x-intercept and my y-intercept. Connect those 2 points, and I've got my y. So that's the graph of number 6. For number 7, this time we're doing it in reverse. This time they gave you the line, and we're going to write ourselves an equation. So this is the line. I need to write an equation in this form right here, the slope-intercept form. So in order to do that, I need to find 2 things. I need to find the slope, and I also need to find the y-intercept. So let me find the slope first, the m. I'm going to pick 2 points. I'm going to use this point here and this point right here. Notice that I'm going up, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going over, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 over 3. But what is 3 divided by 3? We're finding the slope, the rise over the run. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now I need to find the y-intercept. Where does this line touch the y-axis? Touching right here. It's touching at -3. Therefore, I'm looking for an equation that looks like this right here. Y equals 1x minus 3, which would make the correct answer C. C would be the answer, number 7. We'll do number 8 the same way. Again, I got a graph, and I want to write an equation in this form right here. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to find 2 things, the slope and the y-intercepts. So I'm going to pick 2 points. I'm going to use this point and this point. Doesn't have to be, but those are the 2 that I'm using. So notice here, we're going to go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go over 2, up 4 and over 2. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. So the slope on this line is 2. Then I need to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is this point right here where it touches the y-axis, and that point right there is -4. So the equation I'm looking for is this one right here. Y equals 2x minus 4. That's going to be choice C. All right, so that's number 8. For number 9, once again, they're asking us to write an equation in the slope-intercept form. That's this thing right here. And what they've given me is the slope and the y-intercept. This is about as easy as it's going to get on the test, guys. All you have to do is come over here and replace the m, which stands for slope, with 8 over 5. And you're going to replace the b, which stands for y-intercept, with a -5. That's it. All you have to do is replace the m and the b with those 2 values they gave you. So that's your slope-intercept form. That's number 9. Number 10 is going to work the same way. We're going to write an equation in that same form. So just like I did with number 9, we're going to come over here and replace the m with 1/4. That's the slope. And we're going to replace the b, the y-intercept, with a positive 2. So there's our new equation. That's number 10. Number 11. Number 11, they've given me a point. They've also given me a slope, and they want me to write an equation in slope-intercept form. They want me to write something that looks like this right here. Problem is, I can't start there. Since they've given me a point and a slope, what I'm going to start with is this one right here. It's called the point-slope form. I'm going to use this formula first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by replacing this y1 with the y value. That's going to be the 3. I'm going to replace m, which stands for slope, with a 2/5. And I'm going to replace that x1 with the x value, and that x value is a 5. That's what it looks like with the numbers plugged in. And then from there, I want to get y by itself, and I want it to look like this equation here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of those parentheses, use a little distributive property. 2/5 times x is a 2/5 x. And a 2/5 times a negative 5 is a negative 2. That times that is negative 2. Next thing I'm going to do is move that 3 to the other side, and we're going to do that by adding it. We're going to add it to that negative 2 there. A negative 2 plus 3, that's going to give us a positive 1. So notice our equation is now in slope-intercept form. Y equals 2/5 x plus 1. And that would be choice B. Alright, so we'll do the same thing with number 12 here. We're going to start off with this thing right here again. It's called the point-slope form. I'm going to start replacing some of these letters with some numbers. That y1 gets replaced with the y value. M gets replaced with the slope, 3/2. And the x1 gets replaced with the x value, 4. So there it is, all plugged in. Now I want that y by itself, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those parentheses using distributive property. If I multiply 3/2 times an x, I get a 3/2x. And then if I multiply 3/2 times a negative 4, I end up with a negative 6. Negative 6. I'm almost there. The last thing I'm going to do is move that 1. We're going to add it over here. And a negative 6 plus 1 would result in a negative 5. So my equation is y equals 3/2x minus 5. That's number 12. All right, number 13, there's an easy way and a hard way to do this. We can do this algebraically by hand, or since I'm going to let you use your calculator on the test, we can also just do it on the calculator. So everybody go to your calculator, and I want you to go to the stat button. Everybody go to stats. Stats. It's the button that says stats. Stats. After that, we're going to go to edit. Edit. And what we need to do is in that table there, we need to plug in some values. So underneath the x column, got 2 columns, an x and a y. Underneath the x column, we're going to put these x's right here, 0 and 1. And underneath the y column, we're going to put a 4 and a 0. These numbers right here. So all we're doing right now is plugging in the ordered pairs. That edit. Put that in your table. Alright, once you got it in your table, we need a clear screen. So to get a clear screen, we're going to go to second mode. Get a nice clean screen. Second mode. Nice clean screen. Second mode. Once you got a clear screen, you're going to go back to stat again. Stats. But instead of going to edits, this time, we're going to go to calc. I believe at the very top it says calc. Is that right? All right. And you're going to go all the way down. I think it's number 4 that says linear regression. Number 4. Number 4 is the one you're going to choose. And you're going to hit enter, 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 enter until you get an equation in the form of this right here. Y equals mx plus b. Yeah, in this case, they don't use M and B. They use, I think, A and B. A and B. All right, A is the same thing as M. It's our slope. And what number you get for that one? Negative what?
4.
Negative 4. And you're also getting a second number, the B. The second number is 4. Positive 4.
Let's see.
So we're looking for the equation that says y equals negative 4x plus 4.
C.
That would be choice C. All right, so you could do the same thing with this one right here. So let me give you a second. Go ahead and put that one in your calculator. Stat edits. Change those numbers that we just typed in. First number should be 3, 5. That's under the x column. Negative 4, negative 1 is under the y column.
I got this.
Yep, that's all right.
But it's 3 No.
And yes, you are going to get a decimal. That's okay. That means you're doing anything wrong. What are you getting for your first number? 1.5? Is that right? 1.5. And what about your B, or the second number? Negative 8.5. Now, obviously, that's not one of your choices, and that's because instead of writing it in decimals, they wrote it in fractions. So, let's fix it. Get a nice clean screen. Get a clean screen. Type in the decimal 1.5. Type in the decimal 1.5. Use your math button, math, enter, enter. And all it's going to do is change that decimal to a fraction. And that fraction now, or that decimal now becomes the fraction 3 over 2. And then we could do the same thing with that other decimal. 8.5 would now become a negative 17 over 2. So this is the one we're looking at. So it's the same thing. Those decimals are the same thing as those fractions. That's number 14. All right, and the last section here has to do with our inequalities. So let's take a look at a couple of those. Number 15, we have the inequality y is less than or equal to 5x. Notice there is no y-intercept, so we're going to use a 0 on here. 0 is our y-intercept. The slope on this one is 5, meaning we're going to go up 5 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and over 1. And I can get more points on the other side, going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and over 1. Now here's where you're going to need to be careful because sometimes the lines are dotted, sometimes they are solid. This particular one is going to be a solid line. And we know that because this equal sign right there. That's how we know it's solid. But it also has some shading. Sometimes you shade to the top, sometimes you shade to the bottom. This one says less than, so we're going to shade to the bottom. This is the side that we're going to shade. Now, for those of you that are still not comfortable with the shading parts, this right here, you can also put in your calculator. That would be a triangle that looks like this right. That's the less than symbol. So if you want to see the shading on your calculator, you can use that symbol next to your y equals. All right, so let's go on here. 16 is the same thing. We're going to start at positive 1. 3 over 2 is our slope. 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. Can even go down 1, 2, 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3 over 2. What kind of line am I going to use on this one? The solid or the dotted? Solid. And that's because of this equal sign. This one also says less than. We're going to shade to the bottom. So that's the graph.
Can you put the symbol?
I'll do that in a little bit. Yeah. 17. It's the same thing. Negative 2 is where we're going to start at. 4 is our slope. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. I'm going to also go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Let's see. Dotted or solid line? This one's a dotted. And that's because this time we don't have the equal sign. This one still says less than. So less than, we're going to shade to the bottom. That's going to be this right here. That's the mark. All right, we got time for one last one here. Let's take a look at number 18. 6x plus 5y equals 5. Before I can graph it, I've got to get that y by itself. So I'm going to do like I was doing earlier. Move that 6x to the other side. I'm subtracting it, which is why it's a negative 6x. But the next thing I'm going to do is come over here and divide by 5. I want y by itself. Negative 6 divided by 5 is a negative 6 over 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now, I do want to remind you guys that sometimes you are going to have to flip your inequality symbol. Do I have to flip it on this? No. The only time you anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you will have to flip the sign. We didn't divide or multiply by a negative number, so there was no need for it on this one. So let's go ahead and graph that. 1 is where we're starting at. Negative 6 over 5 tells me I need to go down 6 and 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes you may not have enough room to do that, so you can always do the opposite. Go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice this one does not have the equal sign on it, so we'll use a dotted line. This one says less than, so less than we're going to shade to the bottom. That would be this part over here. That's the bottom of the line. So this is the graph of number 18. All right, so that's the first half of your review.